Hello YouTube. It is the last Sunday of January, y'all. This Friday is the 31st. This month is finally over. If you live in the New York City area or Chicago, or I would say most places in the north, it is very cold. January is like, I hate January personally because it is so cold. And it's annoying to, thank God I wear layers and stuff like that, but just in general, it's just an annoying month. It's cold, you know. That's the month that I don't really have plans. Even in my younger days, like it was very rare that I went out. If I went out, I took like my son out or something to the Apple Circus. They have it at the Met under a tent, or like an opera or something, you know, something for my son. I remember taking him to see Hansel and Gretel back in 2015. That was 10 years ago, y'all. Oh, wow. He was 6. He had just turned 6. And, yeah, he was so little. Like, oh. But, yeah, so, I wouldn't even take him to the park in January. Like, it would be so cold, ice on the ground and stuff. I hate the month of January. I feel like if I was born in January, I probably would never go out. Like, I would just be home. If people want to come over, yeah, but January is just that month that's just annoying, you know. People have invited me to parties for their birthday, and I'm like, no, it's too cold. So like my son's birthday, he's only had a cold birthday maybe once or twice his whole life. Like December is not that bad, but January is like, you could have the warmest, because we've had some warm winters, but even in the warmest winter is you're gonna have a day where it's 30 something. Like today is 35. That's still cold, you know. Now, next Sunday is supposed to be 41, so that's even better. But it's supposed to rain. I'm going to church next Sunday. They having a Black History thing at my father's church, so I'm definitely going to go and support that, you know, next Sunday. And next Sunday will be February 2nd. We will be in February next week, so bye-bye, January. I'm happy that it went kind of fast. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about The Fatal Honeymoon. And this movie came on Lifetime 13 years ago, which is a very long time ago. Like, that's when I moved out my parents' house, 2012. And I briefly wanted to talk about adult children. I don't have an adult child yet, but he's 16, and I think about scenarios where father, in this case, father knew best, and he just let his daughter do whatever. And my personality, no. So basically in the movie, there were so many red flags. It was a relationship with two people, a man and a woman. And from the first scene, you could tell he was a douche, like he was no good for her. The father caught on to him in the very beginning. Okay, so in the very beginning of the movie and in the relationship, he says things that's very odd. Like, he meets her parents and he says, oh, you're gonna be barefoot and pregnant. He was joking, but it's like, why would you say that? Then the parents ask him, what church do you attend? And he responds, why does it matter? So for me, it's like, why you can't answer a simple question? For me, if somebody came into my house and they're dating my son and I'm asking them, what church do you attend? And they respond, oh, why does it matter? I'm going to say, young lady, I asked you a question, now answer it. You need to answer. Like, it does matter, because if you go to a Jehovah's Witness spot, or if you're of a different Seventh-day Adventist, we are not that. So now we looking into unequally yoked. And yes, me as a mother, I'm going to have something to say. Like I said in my previous videos, you don't have to go to church every Sunday, but you need to be going to church somewhere. So if the person responded, I'm not a member of a church, but I am Pentecostal. Cool. This guy says, what does it matter? Because he didn't go to church at all. So that's why he got offended. So that's a red flag. He don't like to answer direct questions, right? It's deeper than just, oh, he don't go to church. Not only did he not go to church at all, which for me at my big age, that's a turn off. Like my last relationship was off and on for 3.5 years, and the whole time he never went to church, not even one time. So moving forward, like I told y'all, like I don't go to church every Sunday, but I do go to church. And I go at least, it depends. Like my son, when he was very active in the church, he was in a youth program, so I went to support. I'm his mother, so of course I went to support. And then if it's not something that he's doing, then I'll, some people always invite me to church, so that's just natural. But 3.5 years, he didn't go to not even one time. And I was like, I will be single forever if I have to. Like, I never invited him to come with me, but I feel like you should go on your own. Like you should go at least once, But yeah, so with this guy, he didn't go to church at all. When her father asked the question, he didn't want to answer. So then there's another scene when they're at dinner, family dinner, and he catches an attitude because he's like, he didn't want to be there. That's another red flag. If you're dating a guy and he doesn't want to come to functions, right? And he's telling you, I don't want to come. That's another red flag that he's not really trying to be serious with you, right? There were so many red flags in that relationship and in that movie. It was like, girl, run. So then finally, they've been together for years, and she's like, okay, when are we getting married? Like, what are we doing? So he goes, oh, when the time is right. So the father's like, yo, he's wasting your time, like, whatever. So finally, when she leaves him, that's when he proposes. And I can imagine from her perspective, because that's hard when you fall in love with a man, you want to marry him and he don't want to marry you. That has to be a painful, sad feeling. Because it's like, yo, I've done everything and you don't want to be committed. Like, that's hurtful. So she left him and he proposed to her at her job or whatever. And the day before the wedding, the father is like, are you sure about this? And so right before the last rehearsal, he asks him, because, he asked the son-in-law, the guy, he's asking the father for permission to marry the daughter. And the man asked him frankly, do you love my daughter? He goes, oh, that's between me and her. That has nothing to do with you. That's a simple yes or no question. If I'm asking you, do you love my child? You should be able to say, yes, I love your son. Me, I have a son. I love your son with all my heart. He asking this man, do you love my daughter? And his response is, that's between me and her. What? Like, who says that to their father-in-law, right? So that's another red flag, because he couldn't even answer yes or no, And then the movie is so sad because you have so many people getting married and they really don't love each other. It's lopsided, and you could tell. People have problems in their marriage and relationship, but love is not supposed to hurt, so based on everything he did in the relationship, the father was asking him frankly, like, do you love my daughter? And he goes, oh, that's between us. Another red flag. So fast forward, they get married. The day before, he's like, yo, are you sure about this? Like, are you afraid of him? The father's like, yo, you don't have to do this. Like, this is your life, you know? So she's like, Dad, I love him. This is who I want to be with. This is what he's like, are you sure? She's like, she's sure. So they get married, and they go on their honeymoon, and he kills her. Even if they didn't show the scene in the movie, I believed he did kill her for the simple fact, like, you are a swimmer. This is something that you do on a regular. You know what to do when it comes to her air in her tank. She had complained and says she didn't have enough air. He also weighed down her suit, her swimming suit. So it was too heavy, and that's what made her sink. And thirdly, if you are with somebody under the sea, right, and you see them sinking, why wouldn't you pull them up? So when she died, instantly, you know, the family was on to him, like, you killed her. Like, is no way you didn't kill her. And then everybody knew that he did it because the way he treated her before they got married. So just like with the Menendez brothers or whatever, like, everybody knew that they killed them, but they killed them for no reason, because right after they killed their parents, they went on a shopping spree, right? So with this guy, right after she died, he was in a relationship. Like, he was cheating on her the whole time anyway, and then he got with this next girl. So that's proof right there that he killed her. And then right before they got married, he was fiending for an insurance policy, right? And while they're on their trip, before they go scuba diving, before they go diving into the ocean, he makes a joke about her dying. And she said, that's not funny. But all his innuendos and all his jokes and stuff like that, they were not jokes. And that's what I wanted to stress in this video. Like, a family member, a friend, I don't care if it's a significant other, when people make jokes, you have to pay attention to it, because that's them telling you something, right? So he would make jokes, and she's like, that's not funny. But the number one red flag for me is he was fiending for a life insurance policy. Like, it's good to plan for the future, but that shouldn't be the first thing you think about when you get married. It should be a house or apartment. I feel like when you get married, that should be your first goal, or getting a new job, or finding out ways to support your wife, or starting a family, things like that. You know, you don't think of life insurance until maybe 10 years into it. Now, if you're old, and when I say old, I mean like over 55, then yeah, you think about life insurance and shit like that. Yes, you could die at any age, but when you first get married, I don't think that life insurance should be on your radar. These people were in their 20s, so it's like, why was he so anxious for life insurance? Then after she passed away, he went on her grave and stole the flowers. Is all these, and just his overall behavior was just very calm. He wasn't crying, and he moved on with another woman. So all signs that he just didn't care about her, and all the signs was there, but she was in love so much that she couldn't pay attention. And I can't stress that enough. If somebody doesn't care about you in life, they're not going to care about you when you die. And that's a very dark thing to say, but it's the truth. Like, you got to pay attention to how people treat you. You know, someone that's selfish towards you, someone that puts you down, someone that's just down and out mean to you, 9 times out of 10, they probably either want you dead or they don't care if you died. And I don't care if it's a friendship. It could be a friendship, family member, whatever. Surround yourself with people who want to be around you, right? Throughout their relationship, this man will put TV and sports before her. This man never made any sacrifices for her. He just was very selfish towards her. He treated her like crap. And the whole family knew it, but because she was so in love with him, she overlooked all of that, you know. And ladies, if you gotta leave a man for him to propose, He don't want to marry you. He's only marrying you because you left him. A man should marry you because he wants to marry you, not because you have kids together, not because you're pregnant, because when that happens, he's going to end up resenting you. And I've seen it happen time and time again. Like, you know, somebody pregnant, so they get married, and then what happens? He starts to resent you, right? He starts to treat you bad because that's not what he wanted to do. And so he ends up killing her. Why? Because he did not want to be with her. He did not want to marry her. And she kind of like pushed it on him. You know, just like with Martin, that's a TV show. But it's a perfect example of you cannot force a man to do what he don't want to do. Now, they ended up getting married in the series. But when they first get engaged, he loses his job and he exits left. If she didn't come after him, they wouldn't have gotten back together. But Gina had to drive 6 hours to get this dude from a cult. You know, Najee Ramba. And he had his hair half braided. But yeah, you can't make no man commit to you. And it's tempting because you might be in love. But that movie was just like so sad to me because all she wanted was love. And what did he do? He killed her. And so the end result of that was he didn't do no time, folks. He didn't go to jail because when you put somebody's body in water or they die in water, it's very hard to prove anything. It's very hard to, like, Lacey Peterson, the pregnant wife who was killed by her husband, he had did some damage to her before putting her in the water, right? But if you don't choke nobody, if you don't put no bruising on their body, it's very hard to prove that they, you know, it was hard to prove that he actually killed her. Because what actually killed her was lack of oxygen in her scuba diving outfit, right? So there's nobody to say, oh, he made sure that. It's just speculation. But me and the family and everybody believe he did do it because the way he treated her when she was alive was so bad, and then his actions after her death, you know. But he's walking a free man. He didn't do not one day in jail. And I want y'all to comment, like, and subscribe. Those of y'all who have children, would you me personally, I'm stopping the wedding. Like, there's not going to be no wedding. If I know that my son is with somebody and this lady do not love him, no, you are not marrying this person, because we don't know what this person is capable of. Especially like with me, I have a son. You don't know if she could have a baby on you and you're not the father, or she could just use you for your money. Like, I feel like us who have sons, it's even worse. You know, you got to look out for your girls, but you have to look out for your sons. Like, is she with my son because she's lazy and she wants him to, you know, play stepdad, or she wants him to not even play stepdad, but, you know, she using him for his money and his resources, or, you know, she don't come from nothing, so she wants to use him, and, you know, he's ambitious, he's working, and, you know, because even my son, he's working. He started working when he was 14. I told him, do not spend your money on no chick. Don't even date a chick that's not working, unless if she get money from her parents, her little, you know, you go into the movies, you get the tickets, she's buying the popcorn, straight up. My son is not no ATM. So when he gets married, I'm gonna have 101 questions like, are you working? Are you in school? What do you have going for yourself beside a pretty face and a vagina? Because my son can get that anywhere. Like, I'm gonna grill his wife. Like, yeah, because that's my child, and my child is not no sucker, and he not no ATM machine. So yeah, I don't want him to be with no chick that's gonna use him, period. You know, and you got a lot of users out here that they just want somebody to take care of them. No, you know, there's nothing wrong with a husband providing, but there's a difference between providing and getting used. Okay? So she needs to have something going on for herself. There's no such thing as, okay, he got the education and the career and she's just going to be home. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know. So he could go to the pole house and she could, no. Absolutely not. But yeah, those of you in YouTube world, what would you do if you had a child that was in a relationship with a no good person? Would you intervene, or would you just let them make a bad decision? And those are my thoughts.